Hi, today we're going to create a data cube. We're going to use SQL Server Analysis Services to create a data cube with our Planet Toys data warehouse. Now this is a continuation of our previous assignments using the Planet Toys Incorporated data. Now if you haven't completed those assignments or haven't been able to get through them, or maybe if you're not so confident as to how far you've gotten with those assignments, I do have a starting point for you to use. But in general, before I get too far, let me let you know about this document. This document is available to you in As You Learn, and a lot of the information that I provide to you today in this video will come from this document. So if there's any questions and there's need to be able to extract information such as scripts, which are included here as well, be sure to come back to this document and get yourself rolling. All right. So the first thing that I want to make sure that you have is you'll want to make sure that you have your data warehouse in place. So currently you can use the data warehouse that you've been using for Planet Toys Incorporated, and you should have some data inside this particular data warehouse. So make sure there is data included. If by chance you're not too sure if there's data, or the ETL project that you worked on before is not completed, you can use this particular data warehouse, which I've put inside your folders that you can attach to and use for this particular assignment. So you can use either one. You can use your data warehouse or the one that I've provided for you. Just make sure that there is data inside your data warehouse. The one that I'm providing for you does already have data. All right. So also, one other thing I want you to do is make sure that inside your folder on the network is that you have a folder that's created called SSAS projects, because this is where we're going to include all the files that we're going to create today. All right. So let's go ahead and get started with Visual Studio 2019. What I want you to do is boot it up, and let's go ahead and create a new project. So I'm going to select on Create a New Project. And what I want to do is I want to find the Analysis Services multidimensional data mining project. So as I scroll down, you can see that there's two available here. I'm going to just select on the first one. It really doesn't matter, but selecting on the first one here just will help me out. Maybe you don't see two or three of them. Maybe you only see one. That's fine. We're looking for the Analysis Services multidimensional data mining project. All right. So the next thing that we need to do is give our project a name. We're going to give the name our last name, and we're going to call it PTI OLAP, which is Online Analytical Processing, which is going to be for our cube. Now, of course, this is what I want you to name your file. I'm going to put _video at the end, so I know that this is actually a video that I am going to create. Now, as far as location, I want you to save it in the location of your projects, your SSAS projects. But what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to create a new folder called SSAS project video. And what I want you to do, of course, is just create one called SSAS projects, which you should have already created, and select that folder. All right. And then the last thing after we select everything, we want to make sure that we check this box right here. So let's go ahead and check that box. And this is how we want to get started, and go ahead and select on Create, and we'll allow Visual Studio using SSAS to get started on creating our project. So this might take a minute. I'll try to cut out some dead time here if needed. All right. So now when we get started, we actually have a workspace. Right? We have a workspace here in the center. This is where we're going to start to find a lot of our information for our project. Also here on the right-hand side is our Solution Explorer, and we have several things that will be included here. All right, the first thing that we need to do with our project is actually to connect to a data source. So I'm going to right click on the data sources folder, and I'm just going to select on new data source. And then we get a data source wizard. And so it gives us a startup screen, and I'm just going to simply select on next. Now I want to create a data source based on a new or existing connection, right? Now, currently I have a connection in there, and I am going to delete this one, and I'll show you how to get started with creating a connection of your own. So we'll create a data source based on a new or existing connection. So I'm going to select on new. And now we have a connection manager, and we've seen this before. So in the server name, we're going to type CIS.analytics.appstate.edu/CIS and whatever your instance number is. Mine is 0, but yours could be 10 or 22. Make sure you put the correct number here. And we're going to select a database name. So I'm going to hit the drop down, and I am going to find my database. Today I'm going to use PTI Data Warehouse Complete. As I mentioned, you can use your PTI Data Warehouse, but I'm going to use this one just to kind of have something to confirm with. I'm going to select on test connection, and the connection has succeeded. So I'll select on OK there, and I will select on OK here. All right. Then I'm going to go to next, and it's going to ask me some impersonation information. For now, we're going to use a specific Windows username and password, and this is going to be your AppState credential. So I'm going to put mine in here, and I'm going to type in the password of password. All right, password is not my password. All right, so I'm going to select on next just to make sure, and they're going to ask me what I want to call this, and I am going to leave the data source name just as it is. So I'm going to go ahead and select on finish. All right, so in the upper right hand side of our project, you can see now that we have the data source view included. Now there's one little setting that we need to make sure of with this particular project. So we're going to make our first edit to the project's properties. So I'm going to right click here at the very top of my solution where it says Kalita PTI OLAP. Yours would, of course, be your last name, PTI OLAP. And I'm going to right click on it and go to properties. Now, what I want to do is on the left-hand side where we look at the configuration properties, I want to look at the deployment. So I'll select on deployment, and what I want to change here is the target server. Currently, it says localhost. This should be our CIS analytics appstate.edu server. So I will change that to CIS-analytics.its.appstate.edu, and it will be /CIS00 is my server name. You, of course, will include your server number here. And I'll hit apply just to make sure it takes. Double check my spelling visually. It looks good, so I'm going to hit OK. The next thing I need to do is create a data source view. All right. What I will do is I will start the data source view in the next video. So hopefully this has gotten you started with building our cube, and we'll see you in the next video.